And we are recording. Okay, so y'all, this is the second part of 8.2. And so y'all, I'm looking at this problem right here, and they're giving me some information. We have some metro areas, metro area A all the way through M. And they're telling us this sort of chart here, y'all, is telling us the number of recent college graduates who moved into the area. And this is in thousands, okay? And so, y'all, what we're going to do, the first part says, can we find the mean? So, y'all, remember what the mean is. The mean is the average. And so the symbol that we use for the average, y'all, the symbol we use for the average is that X with a bar. And what that means we're going to do, we're going to take these folks and we're going to add them up, and then we're going to divide by how many numbers we have here. So, y'all, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to count how many numbers I have. The easy way for me to do it, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we got a total of 13 numbers right there, y'all. Okay, and y'all, I'm going to take my calculator. I'm going to add these folks up. So, y'all, I got this calculator right here, right? This is kind of the same one we've kind of been using, right, throughout our stuff. And let me see if I can do, I don't know if it's going to let me do this, but let me see if I can do a couple of things here. Let's see if I can do that. There we go. Okay, let me clear this whole thing out, and I'm going to just start adding my numbers. So 200, okay, plus, oh man, that's going to be a pain. So let me actually just use a regular calculator. All right, 200 plus 98 plus 92 plus 92 again, plus 61 plus 53 plus 53 again, plus 52 plus 45, right? Plus 40 plus 33 plus 30 plus 28. Okay, so I added them all up, y'all, and I'm coming up with 877. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take 877 and I'm going to divide this by 13. Okay. And y'all, when it tells me to round to the nearest tenth, what they're telling me to do, y'all, again, we talked about decimals and place values. The nearest tenth means we want to have one decimal point behind, or one value behind my decimal point. So this 4 right here, y'all, this is the number that I'm thinking about rounding. Remember, the way I'm going to decide whether or not I should leave it at a 4 or if I should bump it up to a 5 is I got to look at the number to the right of it. If this number right here that I highlighted in blue, if that number is 5 or bigger, then this number right here has to move up by 1. So, y'all, I'm going to write 67.5, right? So my mean, boom, 67.5. Okay. Now, for part B, y'all, part B says, can we find the median? Now, remember, y'all, the median is the number, my friends, in the middle. Now, when we say it's the number in the middle, the numbers have to be arranged from smallest to biggest, okay? And y'all, I want you to notice something here. If I go from the bottom to the top, would you say those numbers are they already arranged from smallest to biggest? Does it look like they are? Looks like it, right? From smallest to biggest, right? It's not like there's a big number on the bottom and smaller numbers, right? They're all in order. So we want to find the number in the middle. Now, y'all, remember how many numbers we have? We have 13 numbers, okay? So if we want to find the number in the middle, one way you can go about doing this, y'all, look, scratch the bottom one, scratch the top. Scratch the second to the bottom, scratch the second to the top. And keep playing this game until you get to the number in the middle. What's the number in the middle? 53. And that's all you got to do. Right? There's my middle number. There's my median. Right? Okay. Let's see. Let me kind of zoom out a little bit. And the next part here says, well, okay, what's the mode? The mode, y'all, is the number that occurs most often, the number that you see up there more than any others. And so, y'all, I'm looking here and I'm saying, like, okay, you know what? I see a couple of things that could be the mode. Like I'm seeing the number 92 because there's two of them. And I'm seeing the number 53 because there's two of them. Are there any numbers that are three of them that occur three times? And as I'm looking, y'all, I don't see any. So you know what we have? We actually have two modes, y'all. We got the number 53 and we got the number 92. Those are the numbers that occur more than any of the others. Okay. All right. And then, y'all, we have something that we call the mid-range. All right. What the mid-range is going to be sort of an average between the smallest number and the biggest number, and we're going to divide them by 2. Sorry. Okay, so y'all, the smallest number in our set was 28. The biggest number in our set was 200. If we add those together, we're going to get 228. And then all we got to do now is cut it in half. So we take 228 and divide it by 2. Boom. We should get 114, right? And there's my mid-range. Okay. So again, y'all, just a quick recap. How do we find the average? How do we find the mean? We added them all up and divided by how many we had. How do we find the median? We were looking for the number in the middle, but the numbers have to be arranged from smallest to biggest. Okay. The mode is a number that occurs more than any of the others. And then the mid-range just says take the smallest number and the biggest number, add them together, and cut it in half. Okay. So look, let's try another one, similar. All right, it says for the data set, find the mean, the median, the mode, or state if there is no mode. Sometimes, y'all, there's no mode. And then the mid-range. Okay, so it says right here, the number of social interactions for 10 students or longer over a 1-week period of a group of college students is given in the frequency tables. Okay, these interactions exclude family and work situations. All right, that's fine. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, y'all, we need to figure out how many people did we interview. So, y'all, the first thing I got to do, I'm going to look at the second row down here, and I got to add up those numbers. Okay, that's going to tell me how many I'm going to divide by when I do my mean. Okay, so look, we got 10 and 16 and 16 again and 16 again and 8 and 11 and 6 and 5 and 5 and 5 again. Okay, so we have a total of 98. Okay, so let's do the first part. Part A. Let's find the mean, sorry. The mean is a symbol that we use as X bar. Y'all, I already know when we divide them, we're going to divide it by 98. Okay. But I need to figure out what is my total going to be. Y'all, just as a reminder, when I look at, say, this first 4 right here, yes, it's the number 4, but do you know how many 4s we have? We got 10 of them. Okay, there's the number 9, but you know how many 9s we have? We have 16 of them, right? So y'all, when I do something like this, and I need to find how many, what's my numbers going to be? I'm going to say 4 times 10. Okay, close it off. Plus 9 times 16. Okay, close it off. Plus 14 times 16. Okay, close it off. Plus 19 times 16. Okay, close it off. Plus 24 times 11. Close it off. Plus, let's see, 29. Oh, is it 24 times, not times 11, right? It was times 8. Oh, man, it's not going to let me do that. All right, y'all. Sorry, guys. That's what happens when I'm careless. plus, let's see, 14 times 16 plus 19 times 16 plus 24 times 8, there we go, plus 29 times 11, okay, plus, let's see, 34 times 6, okay, plus 39 times 5, okay, plus 44 times 5, plus 49 times 5, okay, equals, boom. So I'm coming up with 2,087. And we're going to divide that by 98. Boom. And y'all, I'm coming up with 21.29. In my lab, they're going to tell you what to round to. Y'all, I'm going to go ahead and round to the nearest 10th. What do you guys think? Should I put 21.2 or 21.3? Anyone know? What do y'all think? 21.2 or 21.3? 0.3, very good. Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. 21.3. Boom. There we go. Okay. Part B. Part B, y'all, says we are looking for the median. Okay. Remember what we said the median? The median is the number, my friends, in the middle. Okay. Now, y'all, I told you the other day that when you're looking for the number, or just a few minutes ago, when you're looking for the number in the middle, we can say, look, let's scratch the lowest and then the top and kind of keep playing that game. But y'all, look how many numbers I got. I got 98 numbers. That's going to take me a long time to figure this thing out. So y'all, the way we're going to do this here is, since there are 98 numbers, okay, since there's 98 numbers, let me kind of scroll back up here to the top because I want to show you guys something. Where is my median thing? Here, okay. So the median is going to be in the value of the n plus 1 divided by 2 position. Okay, what does that mean? Let's come back over here. There's 98. So if we were to take 98 and we were to add 1 to it, we'd get 99. And if we divide it by 2, that's giving me 49 and a half. Y'all, I need to figure out the average between the 49th and the 50th number. Okay. So I want to say, okay, where would I find the 49th and the 50th number? Look how many numbers we have here. We got 10 numbers. Then we have another 16. So y'all, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, look, we got 10 numbers. Then the next group is another 16 numbers. Okay. That's 26. Then we have right here another 16 numbers. Boom. That's 42. That's this one. Let me add these here. Let me add another 16 numbers. Boom. Right here, 58. Okay. So y'all, my number in my, if I do this right here, right, this was, let me come back this way. This was 10. Here we had 26. 26 plus 16. Oops. 26 plus 16 was 42. So that was this one here. That was 26. Here we're at 42. Oh, you know what? Boom. 42 plus another 16. Boom, 58. Okay, so right here, 58. Okay, so y'all, I need to figure out where is my number in the middle. I'm looking for the 49th and the 50th number. So y'all, if when we get to here, my number should be right there in that group of the 19, right? And you say, why the 19? Because that's the number that I got right up there. Okay. Now we're going to look for the mode. Okay. Now, y'all, remember, the mode is the number that occurred the most frequently. So I'm going to look up here and I'm going to ask myself, in that row that we just highlighted, what number was the biggest number? Well, the biggest number looks like it was what, 16? So because it was 16, y'all, the mode would be these guys right here. 9, 14, 19. Those were the numbers that occurred more than any of the other ones. Why? Because they occurred 16 times. No other number occurred more than that. Okay. And then part D says, what is the mid-range? Okay. Y'all remember the mid-range is going to be the smallest number plus the biggest number divided by 2. The smallest number, 4. The biggest number, 49. Let's add them together and divide by 2. That's 53 divided by 2. Let me see. 53. Let's divide that by 2. 26.5. And that right there, my friends, would be my mid-range. Okay. All right. So look, let's see if we can find the same thing with this sort of next problem here. Y'all, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so I can kind of see what's going on here. All right. This question is asking me, what is the mid-range of the weights? Okay. So y'all, if we're looking for the mid-range of the weights, we're looking for, again, the smallest number plus the biggest number divided by 2. So y'all, when people usually see a histogram like this, they usually say, oh, look, that's the smallest number because it's 110. But remember, y'all, this is kind of like a bar graph, right? It's a histogram. So if we looked at this thing down here, look, there's nobody there. It's at 0. This is at 1. This is 2. This is 2. This looks like it's 5. That looks like it's 7. Over here we have 8. This looks like it's 4. This here, or this was actually 3, I want to say. 3. This one here is at 2. That's at 1. That's at 2. And the biggest one would not be 165 because there's nobody there. So the smallest number would be 115. The biggest number would be 160. We're going to add them together and divide it by 2. And that's how we'll find our mid-range. So 115 plus 160. Boom. Let's cut it in half. And I'm coming up with 137.5, right? Boom. And that's my weight in pounds. All right. Y'all, so the next question I have here, it says, one common system for finding a grade point average or a GPA. So y'all, when you check your grades in in Blackboard, right, or you go to DegreeWorks, it'll tell you your GPA. So y'all, this is how we figure out GPAs. A's are worth 4 points, B's are worth 3 points, C's are worth 2, D's are worth 1 point, and F has no value, value 0. Okay, so y'all, when we're trying to figure out how do we find our GPA, the first thing we do is we say, look, okay, remember, how many points was a B worth? A B was worth 3. This is 3, this is 3, this is 2. Okay. And then what we're going to do, y'all, we're going to multiply these numbers as we go from the left to the right. So 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 2 is 4. This here is going to give me how many points we have, okay? So I'm going to add those points together. We're going to take 6 plus 12 plus 9 plus 4, boom. So we have a total of 31 points, okay? In addition to adding our points up, y'all, we also need to add up our total number of credit hours. So I'm going to add those numbers up too. And we're going to take, sorry, let me move this out of the way so you can see it. We're going to take 2 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2. And so we're taking 11 credit hours, right? Okay. And then, y'all, the way we find our GPA, okay, the way we find our GPA is we're going to take the total number of points and divide it by the total number of hours. So we have 31 points, and we're going to divide it by 11 hours. And we're going to figure out what our GPA is. 31 points divided by 11. And y'all, look at the number I'm coming up with. Boom, coming up with this guy right here. Okay, y'all, anytime you're doing GPAs, they're always going to go to two decimal points. So point, two digits. So what do y'all think? 2.81 or 2.82? Anyone got an idea? What do you think? Should I leave that one alone? Or do you think I should bump it up based on this dude right here? What do y'all think? Bump it up, right? So y'all, we got a GPA of a 2.82. That would be like a high C GPA, right? Why? Because C's are worth 2 points. Okay, so you're almost at a 3.0, right? But you got a 2.82. And that's how you find your GPA. Okay, so y'all, that was the end of 8.2. What I want to do real quick, y'all, I'm going to stop recording real quick. Boom.